Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, Roxstars, first story up. Let's talk about Michael Rainey Jr.'s unfortunate incident, or should I say assault, against him on the popular streamer Tylil James. So he has a popular streaming show, I'm assuming, you know, that's what the kids are doing these days. And Michael Rainey Jr. was one of his guests. I don't think it was like a formal type of sit down or anything like that. I mean, it wasn't, just from looking at the clips that I saw. Now, of course, I didn't watch the whole streaming, you know, the whole video. I had no interest in watching the whole thing. However, the part that has been circulating on the blogs is when Tylil James's sister allegedly assaulted Michael Rainey Jr. So you guys know that the Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4 season has started. And side note, if you have not seen my review for that, I am back reviewing the show, and it is up. It's probably the video that is before, it is the video that's before this video. So you guys go make sure that you check that out if you haven't checked it out. We always have a good time on those Power reviews. But getting back to the story, so Michael Rainey Jr., along with other people, other cast from the show, they are doing like PR rounds, you know, promoting the show. And so he's on that show, the popular streamer, like I said. He supposedly met him through other very popular streamer, Kai Cenat. And side note again, that fucking stream, the latest video that he has with Kevin Hart and Drewski, you guys, is fucking hilarious. I'm telling you, Kevin Hart gets on my nerves, and you guys know that. But when he's funny, he is funny. And Kai and Drewski, I mean, just hilarious. You guys know Kai was supposed to be having like a slumber party, and they've been posting videos from it. Drewski and his big face dancing, it just cracks me up. Anyway, back to this story. So they met through Kai, and I guess Michael was doing him a solid, showing up at his show. And if you guys watch the video that is circulating, there is a portion where we see James's 23-year-old sister. I didn't get her name, but we see in the video that she comes into the frame of the video. Now, there's a lot of people that's on the video. There are kids that are sitting like in front of Michael Rainey, so you're not able to see him really from about here down, but you can kind of see part of him, but you can't fully see him. His body, I should say. You clearly know that it's him. His whole face and his whole upper half of his body is on the video. But there's kids that are sitting in the video, as well as the streamer and some other people. But there is a part in the video where you see his sister come into the frame of the video, and her back is to us, and you can see that she is reaching and touching what would be like the lower extremities of Michael Rainey Jr. So it looks like she is, so to his right, our left, looking at the screen, she's there. She's kind of has her hand to the side. She's got her hand to the side like this, and she's reaching down, and she looks like she might be even saying something to him like under her breath, so that everybody else there can't see it. But I think other people even noticed what was going on. You very clearly see Michael Rainey's face, like, you know, kind of taken aback. He doesn't really know what to do. Kind of one of those people that when they're uncomfortable, they kind of laugh. You know, he is on live. This girl did just come up to him and grab his ding, and it's just sort of like, what the fuck? Okay. Now, they say that shortly after all that happened, that he ended up leaving the live, and that was that. Now, afterwards, when people had noticed what had gone on the video, people were saying, like, that girl was wrong. That was assault. She should not have done that. And originally, the popular streamer did come and somewhat defended his sister, somewhat made it seem like it wasn't, well, not somewhat. He made it seem like it wasn't a big deal. You know, he didn't like the fact, apparently, that Michael had just left the stream like that. And at first, he was quite upset with Michael Rainey and didn't see why everybody was going on and going in about his sister. But apparently, somebody did sit down with James and have a conversation with him and get him to see things a little bit differently. Bottom line is, you guys, it is sexual assault. And if you don't see it that way, then you should probably, let's do a little exercise where I tell you to put yourself in that person's shoes. This way, you can kind of say whether or not you would think that that was okay. So just imagine if you were Michael Rainey Jr. and you were on a show, and you being a woman or a man, if you sat there and somebody approached you that you did not ask for, you know, did not say anything to this person, even if he did say something to her, short of it being, hey, come over here and grab my stuff, I don't know what he could have said to that girl to make her think that it was okay to do something like that. Now, you know for good and damn well that if a man goes up to a woman, a la YSAP, and decide to grab her in the coochie like that, then there's a problem there. You can't be upset with what YSAP did to the woman that he was talking about when he got, you know, caught on audio saying that he can do whatever he wants to these women, grab them in the pussy. Yeah, you know, you can't be mad at YSAP but still think that something like this is okay. Now, granted, I get it. It's a man, and there are double standards always at play. All right. And when we say that a woman can't get grabbed like that, yes, that's sexual assault. But there are other people that will say when a man gets assaulted or, you know, touched by a woman like that, yeah, she might be tripping and everything, but it's not that big of a deal. No, clearly it is a big deal. Back in the 80s, 90s, I'll even give you early 2000s. You could have definitely done something like this and got away with it. Or you know, they would have been like, bitch, get off of me. But, you know, people wouldn't be screaming the words sexual assault. In today's day and age, I'm going to need everybody to read the fucking room. I'm going to need people to understand that my body, unless I invite you to it, is off limits. Like, you cannot touch me. All right? In any kind of way, but definitely not my private parts. I mean, no man could be able to walk up to a woman and grab her boobs, grab her cooch, grab her in the ass, you know, and people be okay with that. So the same vein, I'm gonna need you guys to keep that same energy and realize that a woman should not be doing this to a man. Okay? I know that men a lot of times will deal with this kind of touching because, you know, when a man starts complaining that a woman touched him and he didn't want that, you know, then it starts to make people feel like, oh, you a man, like, why you couldn't just handle it yourself? You got to get people involved and say that it was sexual assault. And yes, it is sexual assault. And even if Michael Rainey would have grabbed that girl and shook her up or did something, you know, even still, he probably would have been looked at as the bad guy in this situation. But he would have been defending himself at that point, you know. So you can't really say it's not, if you're gonna say it's sexual assault, it's just sexual assault across the board. Not when men do it to women, but not when women do it to men. Now, granted, the girl is young, 23 years old, but 23 years old is old enough to know better. Again, especially in today's day and age, you know, maybe this is a time that we need to have conversations with our young adult children and letting them know that this kind of shit is just not okay. Definitely not okay. So, like I said, once the streamer realized the error of his ways, he did come back out and he did apologize to Michael Rainey Jr. And he said that whatever direction that Rainey decided to go in, he was going to be in support of that. Meaning, pretty much, if you're going to do legal action, then ain't really nothing he could say. Not that he needed his blessing anyway, because if he wants to sue, he could definitely do that. Let 50 Cent tell it, who inserted himself into that whole discussion. He's saying, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. Michael Rainey Jr. is fine. There will be no lawsuit. There will be no charges pressed and anything like that. I think that it would be up to Michael Rainey to make that decision himself and not 50 Cent. But it is interesting and quite ironic that 50 Cent would be riding Puffy so tough for the things that he did towards Cassie. Now, granted, this girl is not Puffy. Okay, the degree of what has been done is not even comparable, as far as we know anyway. Okay, but just when you're looking at this situation, the fact that 50 has such issue with Puffy being an abusive person, but then when this girl does it to his own member of his cast, of his show, you know, then now it's like, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. If anything, 50 Cent should have just stayed out of it, because it's just sort of like, no, that's not correct. That is not correct. And you need to lead by example. If you're going to go hard on all abusive people, then that girl unfortunately falls under that umbrella too. Okay. And then Michael Rainey did come out and say that, you know, he's still trying to process this whole thing. Yes, that video did go viral, and he's not really sure how he's going to handle it. But he does know that he's taking this seriously, because had the roles been reversed and he did that to another woman, oh honey, heads would roll. And that is 100% true. A man doing this to a woman, immediately everybody would have had a problem with it. Why is it so hard for everybody else to realize that he has indeed been assaulted? You guys, maybe because he's a man. Not maybe, but that's usually what comes with it. So yeah, just a mess. Definitely a mess. And then, like I said, we need to get with the girl and explain to her that she's gonna be real lucky if there are no charges pressed, and that this needs to be a learning time. You know, you think that you so cute and, you know, this is your chance, and you might have, you know, coming at him. Maybe he might have looked at her when he walked into the room. She misread the signals and thought that it was going, but you know, the fact that she was so brazen to do this on camera, I think she kind of liked the idea of people kind of peeping in, voyeuristic type of thing. But yeah, that shit did backfire. Definitely not the look. Okay, so you guys let me know what you think about that. Do you believe that he should be pressing charges? Do you believe that he should let bygones be bygones? And whatever you think, definitely a teaching moment, right? Y'all leave y'all comments below. All right, you guys, next story up. So what's going on with your girl Nicki Minaj out there? You know, this morning when I woke up and I was just kind of scrolling through Instagram trying to get ideas of the stories that I was going to be talking about, I saw Nicki Minaj in a pretty troubling video, and I was just like, oh, what's going on? Now, you guys know Nicki, it do be a whole lot around Nicki. But I did feel a little something. Y'all know me, the bleeding heart and everything. I don't really know what's going on. We know that Nicki Minaj is on her international leg of her Pink Friday 2.0 tour. It's very successful, but it hasn't come without a whole lot of drama. But you know, things seem to have been going pretty smoothly, and we hadn't heard anything else, and I'm assuming everybody over across seas is having as good a time as we was having over here in the US. Okay. But apparently yesterday evening, Nicki Minaj had tweeted, yes, single. That's all she said. Okay. And it was quite cryptic. People didn't really understand what that was about, you know, but her being a music artist, a rapper, you know, and one who likes to get buzz around their name, people assumed maybe that meant that she has a single coming out. Could the single be called Yes? Or is she saying, yes, there is a single coming? Or could this mean something more literal, like, yes, I'm single now? Okay, but those are not the words that she used. So people were trying to figure out what that meant. And then shortly after that, she posted a video where she is talking about giving birth to a baby. You know, you're in pain. They tell you to push. You know, you have a beautiful baby. And she pretty much was just telling all of the moms out there, new, old, current, past, you know, that you guys have done a good job. You know, you are doing a good job. And in the video, besides her saying those things, it looked kind of alarming because her eyes looked like they were red. She was talking really, really low and slowly. I mean, that's kind of how Nicki talks sometimes anyway. But just something about the video was, you know, I guess it could be considered alarming. Okay, because what's going on over there? Now, she is on this tour, like I said, so her eyes could just be red just because she's tired. Okay, or we know that she likes to partake, considering she got in some trouble at in Netherlands, I believe it was. So maybe she could have just had, you know, a relaxing joint after she performed. It could be any number of things. We don't know if she is traveling with her. She usually, I think, travels with her family. I don't know the situation with her husband, but we do know that he is not able to move as freely because he is a former felon, and he has, I'm sure there's stipulations on whether or not he's able to leave the country. I don't know if he is or isn't with her. So I don't know if they could be fighting. I don't know. But you guys know when it's relationship problems and shit, my heart goes out to the women out there. Because, you know, relationships, it take a lot. It be a whole lot, you know. And, yeah, motherfuckers can get on your nerves good. Like that meme said, you know, you prayed for you a man and then you got one. And then here you are irritated before night. That motherfucker done got on your nerves already, but this what you wanted, you know. So, but yeah, I hope that there isn't any trouble in paradise. I mean, she seemed to be happy with him, and she seemed to love him, and they seemed like they was building this family together and all. And yeah, it can be tough. So, you know, I'm not gonna laugh or I'm not gonna tease. I just really hope that everything is okay with the good sis, because that video was kind of weird. That video was kind of weird, and just kind of with all the other stuff that happened, you know, just makes you wonder, is this something serious, or is it just kind of just one of those times when she wants to be on social media? You guys, maybe we'll just have to wait to see. But you guys let me know what you think about that. Do you think that there's trouble in paradise, or is this just more Nicki being Nicki? Next story. All right, you guys, so who out there knew that Tory Lanez was married? Child, raise your hand. I had no idea. I was just like, since when did this boy get married? Child, I mean, absolutely did not know, but I guess they didn't make no big announcements about it. But yeah, apparently he and the young lady, her name is Rainey Jr. It looks like Chasanya. It's sort of spelled like lasagna, but it's Chasanya. Apparently she filed for divorce yesterday from the rapper Tory Lanez, who is currently serving, I think, a 12-year sentence in jail. And she is citing, the nigga ain't getting out of jail for a long ass time, and I don't feel like waiting anymore. Okay. I.e. irreconcilable differences. But yeah, she is leaving him after just a little bit shy of a year. They married on June 25th of 2023. While he was awaiting his sentencing from the whole shooting Meg the Stallion in her feet. And these two have a child together. So I know that he has a child that's around 6 years old. So she has been around a long time. It's not like she just was somebody that got onto a pen pal program with Tori and decided to marry him. But they do have history together, and they got married. But now she is asking for a divorce. I don't know what makes people marry somebody that's about to get in jail, but you know what? That ain't for me to understand. You know, the heart wants what it wants. But they are saying that in this situation, that Tory Lanez and his attorneys, you know, his team, they were trying to soften the court, the way that the court saw him anyway, which was why they're saying, which is why he was making sure that his son came to the court when he was getting, you know, when they were finding him, whether or not he was going to be found guilty or not guilty and all of that, because he wanted the court to see that he is a father who cares about his child. Apparently they tried the angle of asking the judge to let him out of jail so that he can help raise his son, so that his son would move from Toronto, because apparently they live in Toronto, would move from Toronto to Los Angeles, and, you know, they could be a family there. The judge said no on that. I think they probably was trying to make him look more like an honest husband, you know, and being married and showing that whole angle, and so far that hasn't worked either. And they are trying to appeal it and everything, but I guess sis just says she's tired of waiting and she is out. So yeah, didn't know that he was married. I mean, I guess you can't fault a man for trying, right? I mean, looking at a long ass sentence like that, I'd be trying to get the hell up out of there too. So I mean, I understand what he trying to do over there, but so far it ain't happening. Okay, next story. Now, speaking of jail, you guys, we have 3 people that were arrested recently, 3 ladies. Two that are probably more popular than the third, but one that's kind of popularity is kind of waning. But yeah, let's discuss. So first person, let's talk about Crisean Rock. I just mentioned her name the other day, child. She like the boogeyman. You say their damn names a couple of times and then they show up. But apparently Crisean Rock was on her way to go to a hearing that Blueface was having. You know, Blueface is in jail. He's scheduled to come out of jail, I think, July 2nd. Okay, so just a couple of weeks before I don't know why the girl decided to go down there. But she was going to the hearing, and when she got there, the police, they were waiting on her because she had an active warrant, felony warrant out for her. Okay, now this comes from the legal problems that she was having in Oklahoma back in 2022. I said, girl, that Oklahoma situation, she ain't gonna never be able to get away from that, because every time I hear something about her being in trouble, it always is something got to do with that Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not playing. Okay. Now they say that she knew about the warrants. I don't know why she thought that it was going to be okay to go to this court hearing. You in Los Angeles, that don't mean nothing. But apparently she said in a video, in a live not too long ago, that, you know, she was aware about this warrant, just talking about it, nothing to do with what happened yesterday, but she was aware about the warrant. And, you know, had she not been a mother and having a child to raise, that normally she would have just went on, turned herself in and handled it that way. But now that she has a responsibility of a child, she was trying to handle it just by paying it off. Okay. And I was just like, well, who gonna tell sis that, you know, that ain't the way the legal system works? Like, yeah, you might pay a fine and you might find your ass in jail. Okay. You at least have to report. And if you keep on the run, now they consider you a fugitive and they gonna arrest your ass. So that is what happened. She says she don't know what's going on. She got her legal team on. I'm sure, you know, they working on it and everything. But yeah, you can't just pay your way out of your legal problem. So apparently she was arrested in 2022 in Oklahoma, some felony drug and like intent to distribute. She must have had a certain amount, too much, and something on traffic charges as well. Okay, so yeah, that was the warrant that was sitting there, and then people was definitely waiting on her to show up, hoping that she would show up, and she did. And they arrested her. They, you know, she didn't make no scene or anything, but she was saying that she just was kind of confused on to why this was happening. And I was just like, people need to, yeah, please, child, we just got to be more aware. We got to be more aware. If you're going to stay on the run, then don't go to a fucking courthouse like that. It seemed like that would be a no-brainer, but I guess sometimes you got to tell people, right? Okay. So yeah, that's what's going on with Crisean Rock there. They say that the baby ended up going to somebody in the family. I think the father, Blueface's father, was there and he didn't want to take the baby. And I think I saw Blueface's mom making a video talking about it. I didn't watch the video, you guys, but apparently the baby has been taken care of. Hopefully a family member did take the baby, because, you know, in a minute, CPS will take your child and place them in a foster home. So, you know, you got to have these things in order, and you don't want your child to end up in the system, because once they get in the system, then the system is always on your fucking back. I used to work for DCFS, so I know that is not what you want. Try your best to avoid that kind of stuff happening. So it had been pretty quiet around Crisean though, you know, but now that he's about to get out of jail, I guess we about to see all this shit all over again. That's why, God, even though I love Neighborhood Talk, that's why, again, I don't watch them or Jasmine Brand anymore. If I have to just go on the page and check a story, I'll do that, because their story, they do post every fucking thing. But anyway, so that was one of the three. The second one that I want to talk about is Sexxy Red. Okay, now Sexxy Red was arrested, they said, over the weekend too, after she was involved in an altercation at the airport in Newark. Okay, you saw a video. And the fight don't look like she was really in it like that. Okay, it looked like she was kind of helping her mans out. Her mans that was with her, maybe part of her crew. They was fighting with some other group of people. And the video, the vantage point of the video that I saw, this is a surveillance video, and it's kind of shining down into right when you're about to walk either in or out of the tunnel to get in or off the plane. Okay, so they in that little area, and you guys know that they have, a lot of the times they'll have it roped off so that they're trying to keep the lines in order for people. It looked like they was probably getting on the plane. And so you just see a whole bunch of niggas just fall into the damn frame, and they all fighting and shit. And then next thing you know, you see Sexxy Red. She has a bonnet on her head, and she's got one of those poles with that rope that I would tell you about. She got one of those poles, and she kind of like wielding it as if she's gonna throw it at somebody, but she falling, everybody falling all over the place. There's luggage and people and all that going on. And yeah, they did end up arresting her for disorderly conduct. So she didn't get an assault charge, which makes me think that she wasn't a part of like the original fight, that she just kind of was in it, but not the main people that was in the fight. But yeah, it's just like, you know, she's out already. She's already posted bail and she's out. And she even offered to replace some things that I guess some bystanders that was around that might have saw some of the shit that was going down. She, you know, she offered to replace their phones and stuff because maybe people was throwing shit. I don't know, but it was a whole bunch of nigga, full of fucking niggotry there. I was just like, Lord have mercy. Okay, how y'all feeling about Sexxy Red and this whole people trying to say that she supports YSAP? I was at a hat party. My girl Simone, you guys, she has Moni's Uniques, and she makes like custom hats and everything. But we were there and they were talking about Sexxy Red, and I was saying how, you know, even though reluctantly I do like some of the songs that she has of hers, but you know, even Sexxy is not my cup of tea. But somebody there was very strongly against her and saying how much she was a YSAP supporter, and I was just like, yeah, I did see the whole flirting around with the idea of being a Trump supporter and just kind of not wanting to say one way or the other originally. Now, she did finally come out and say that she don't support nobody but herself. That's not really saying that you don't support YSAP. Like, I need the words sometimes to come out and say, no, I don't support YSAP. Do not put me with that. But the fact that she hasn't really said that, or maybe she has. I don't know the quote exactly. But, you know, she had that hat that said, make America sexy again, and having that hat and that slogan, which we already know where that slogan came from, even though it's a play on the words. Yeah, I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see what you guys think about that. But yeah, Sexxy was another person that was arrested. And then the third person would be Tommie Lee, of formerly Love and Hip Hop Atlanta fame. Okay, Tommie Lee was down in Miami, and she was at Club Live. Is it Live or Live? I never knew what the name is, but it's spelled L-I-V. That's why I want to say Live. But she was at the club, and apparently she got into it with a gentleman there. They say that she walked up to the gentleman and she was talking to him, and she was trying to hand him something. He would not take whatever it was that she was trying to hand him. So they say that she got belligerent and she started to argue with him, and he was steadily ignoring her. So that probably made her more upset, and she then poked him. That was when he took her arms and flipped them around behind her and held on to her until the police got there. That leads me to believe that she probably was fussing with security, and they were the ones that, you know, restrained her until the police came. So yeah, I think it's probably security. And you know, we've seen plenty of times girls get drunk and shit and want to go off on them big ass, burly ass security guards. Some of them, all they need is a reason to rough you around, you know. So that is not the person to be getting to some confrontation with. And then Tommie, even as strong as she might be, you ain't fixing to whoop no big ass security guard's ass. Okay, so maybe not the right thing to do. But yeah, she was arrested. And she was charged, I think, with a battery charge, okay? And that was after the police got there and they viewed the surveillance footage, and they did see exactly the way the security guard, I'm assuming, explained it to them, that she was the aggressive person. She was the one that had poked at the man. She was the one that was going off on him, and so that was why they arrested her. Okay, so I don't know if she's still in jail or not, but that was the situation just last night, I think 2 o'clock in the morning. Or was it Monday morning? Going from Sunday into Monday, I believe that might have been what it was. But yeah, I'm gonna need my girls out there. We're gonna have to get these. Yeah, we're going to have to not get ourselves involved in this type of thing, you know, especially Crisean, you got a young baby. Sexxy, you got a young baby, you know, and then Tommie, she doesn't have any young kids, but, I mean, she is a mother, too. But, I mean, you should be not wanting to be in jail whether or not you got kids or not, okay? So, hopefully, you know, they'll be able to get that together. All right. Next story. All right, you guys, and then lastly and quickie, just 2 stories real quick. First, Young Thug, okay, mama named him Jeffrey Wright. I'm only giving the mama named him because that's the only name I remember right now. I didn't look anybody else's names up. But they say that Young Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, has found himself being held in contempt of court because he would not give up to Judge Glanville, I think is the judge's name. He would not give up one of his sources that he used, I mean, I guess for some evidence that he used in court or some sort of witness, you know, whatever. So he would not let the judge know who his source was. And I guess, I'm assuming he pled the 5th. And so the judge was like, okay, well, we about to throw your ass in jail. So now he will have to serve the next 10 weeks in jail on the weekends. Okay, so I'm assuming he probably has to report Friday evening and he probably gets out Sunday evening. And the lawyer, well, what could he do? He had to accept it because that was the choice that he made, not giving up his source. He did ask the judge if it would be okay that he be placed in Cobb County, which is where Mr. Wright is being held. I think it's just a safer environment than Fulton County jails, even though I think they're getting tried in Fulton County, but he's being held in Cobb County. So he asked, could he also be placed in Cobb County so that he can at least work on the case with Young Thug on the weekends while he's there. So, okay, talk about turning lemons into lemonade, huh? And the judge agreed and said that, okay, you can do that. So now he will be killing 2 birds with 1 stone, serving off his time as well as working on the case with his most famous client. All's well that ends well, you guys. And lastly, you guys, so I know last week I did talk to you guys about Riri's new hairline that's coming up, Fenty hair care line that's coming up from her Fenty beauty products. And I did say in the video that she will probably be showing us her hair because people were like, why would you show a wig when you want people to understand that this hair is for folks that are trying to treat their own natural hair? Okay, so I had told you guys, yeah, she gonna take that wig off and she gonna show us her hair. And I mean, well, she did. She did. Now y'all know that Ree my girl. Ree is my girl, and there will be no Riri slander here. Okay, I was a little, you know, her hair looks fine. Her hair looks fine, you guys, but I was not expecting her to come out as a natural head. I was like, girl, you look like me. When I take this fucking wig off and said my shit is gray. But I was like, man, don't let me cut my shit off and do a little curl shit, see what it look. I don't have Rihanna's face clearly. Okay. So I don't know if and plus my, you know, shit is dicey under there, but I was just like, girl, who knew that you was walking around here with this little short afro up underneath there with these curls and everything, you know? But yeah, it was a shock. We're not used to seeing Rihanna in a natural state like that. But it looks good. It's just that we was shocked. Okay, I was just like, oh, okay. One of you guys that sent me a video was like, Roxanne, look, she's washing the wig. Turns out that is not the wig that she was washing. She was washing her own hair. Okay, and her hair is now blonde. It looked like it might even have a little bit of gray mixed up in there, but it's like blondes and browns and you know, like I said, might be some gray in there. I mean, the girl ain't young. She's not old. She's not even 40s. She's not in her 40s yet, and I don't even think she's in her late 30s. She's in her early 30s. But yeah, it was a shock. I ain't gonna lie, it was a shock. I was like, girl, I did not know that's how you was fixed to come out. You know, we got to get used to seeing her that way. But maybe that's good. Maybe that is somebody that's representing, you know, people love Rihanna. So now she's might be emboldening other women to do the same thing, do the big chop and all that. But I was just like, oh, okay. It ain't quite long and cascading like Beyonce, but that's all right, you guys. Everybody can't have long and cascading hair. The fact is that if your hair is healthy at any length, I think that that's what most people want, you know. And she still looks good. She still looks good, you guys. But y'all have to let me know what you thought about it. Yeah, that's it, you guys. I just wanted to let y'all know that I did see that. I didn't want y'all to think I was trying to keep away from the topic, you know. But it's all good. It's all good. Did you guys see the current pictures and videos going around about Ree? And also Ree says that she do have music coming, and no, she is not pregnant. Okay, because that's what everybody want to put on her. Reese said, fuck that music. I still don't know if I see her coming out. I think the longer you stay out away from doing music, it might be harder to come back. You know, you just have other priorities. And she don't need a child. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think about all that. Let me get on off of here so I can get on back to work. All right, you guys, we do this every single week. All right, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars, bye.